Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Erica, and in today's video I am collabing with the one, the only, the beautiful Nikki Lynn, and of course I'll have a link to her channel in my description box. Nikki and I have collabed together a few times, and it's been quite some time. It's been way too long since we've collabed together, so here we are again, and I'm thrilled to be collabing with her. Nikki is so beautiful, so fun, so talented. She can take any color combination, any texture combination, and create the most beautiful eye looks with it. Doesn't matter what it is. And she just amazes me. She does Mishmash Mondays where she'll take shades out of different palettes and put them together. And like, I think she randomly generates a couple of the shades, or she chooses her favorites and then randomly generates other shades. I can't remember exactly how she does it, but sometimes she'll get color stories and I'm like, geez, and she creates the most beautiful looks with it. I don't know how she does it. She's amazing. So we're going to be doing something similar to that today. We chose two brands that we love, Nomad Cosmetics and Beauty Bay. And the goal is to pick a palette from each brand, pick some shades out of each palette, and put an eye look together with the shades that we chose. Now, none of these were randomly generated, just whatever we want to use. And we can, I think, use as many shades as we want, I think. If I got that wrong, Nikki, I apologize. But I think that's what we decided on. So I grabbed the Nomad Cosmetics Tokyo Harajuku palette from Nomad, of course. And I've wanted to use this palette as a companion palette for quite some time. Jan Van mentioned a while back that she feels that this is the perfect companion palette. And I was like, yeah, you're right. Because if you have, a palette that has darker shades in it and you want to bring in some lighter shades, you have these beautiful pastel tones to do that with. And I don't know, I just never thought of that before. So I think what shades I'm going to be pulling out of this palette for my look is this one right here. It's beautiful. And let me see, I'll put my glasses on. I'll read you the shade name. This is Takanoko Zoku, sorry. And then I think I'm going to be using this shade right here called Otaku, which is my favorite shimmer out of this palette. And then I might throw this shade in too. I'm not sure. We'll see. This is called Gayanu, I think is how you pronounce it. I'm probably totally mispronouncing these things, but so yeah, that's what I think. I might even put, I don't know. We'll see, but I know for sure the purple matte and then the shimmer shade. Absolutely. And then from Beauty Bay, I'm going to be using the Book of Magic palette. This is one of my favorite, if not my favorite Beauty Bay palettes that I have. And I think the shades I'm going to be pulling out for the look from this palette is this one called Cursed. And then I'm thinking either Potion or Spell for the shimmers. I might even use this one too, and that one's called Voodoo. So I'm not exactly positive yet, but I'm just going to start throwing some shades on my lids and then we'll see what happens. Now, my P. Louise eyeshadow base is bye-bye. It finally went to P. Louise eyeshadow base heaven. So I'm using the Milani eyeshadow primer. Is that all it says here? Long wear shadow base. And Jan Van uses this and she recommended that I pick it up. And I've used it a couple of times and I love it. It's a great eyeshadow base. Now it is a little tackier than what I'm used to. So I don't know, should I set it? I don't think I need to set it. It doesn't, no, I think it's fine. I don't need to set it. I set it in the past, but I don't think I need to do that today. And my brows are done too. Okay, so let's start off by using this shade right here. I'm gonna not pronounce it again because I'll just butcher it. Putting that in my transition area. And I think it was Nikki that reached out and said, do you want to do a collab with me? And I'm like, yes, Nikki, I do. Of course I do. You guys know I love to do collabs. And Nikki's so much fun to collab with because she's just super easy to plan the collab out with, And she's usually the one that comes up with the idea of what we do. Because I don't know, as I get older, my creative juices just aren't always flowing, right? Shawnee and I are going to do a collab together with the Sugar High eyeshadow palette. And, I pulled some questions together for us to answer. And I did film the video. And the questions were so stupid. They were so dumb. I don't know what I was thinking. Like some of them, I'm like, I can't answer this. I don't even care about answering it. So it was really funny because Shawnee reached out to me via text and said, she's like, I don't know about these questions. And she's like, I know you already filmed the video, but I don't, I said, you know what? I didn't like my answers to any of the questions because the questions suck. So I said, let's just redo it. So we're going to be doing that. I think we chose June 8th to do our collab using the Sugar High palette from Menagerie together. I really liked the look that I put together. It was beautiful, but the questions were just, I mean, I don't think anybody would have enjoyed watching either one of our videos. The look would have, I think our looks would have been great to see, but the answering of the questions was just, ugh, no, it was just asinine. I don't know what the hell I was thinking. And this is a beautiful, very vibrant purple pastel shade. I don't know if this is really a true pastel though. It's got, you know, the color is really like, huh, it's beautiful. I think that looks great. I might though go around with a different shade, or we'll see. But for now, I think that looks pretty good. So now I'm going to put this palette aside and I'm going to grab the Book of Magic palette. And I really want to have like some blues in here too, not just have it be monochromatic purple. Although that is such a beautiful shade. Let me think here. You know what? I think I'm going to switch this up just a little bit. I'm going to go into the shade here called Trick and put that in my crease. And then I am going to put Voodoo in my outer corner rather than Cursed. I don't know. That's just what I want to do. And work, I've mentioned in the last few videos, has been something else lately. Something else. And that's all I'm going to say. Just something else. Certain aspects have been a little bit much for me to deal with lately. Oops. Is that a fuzz? Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, it's a fuzz, but I got it off. And often when I'm having a rough time at work, I try to like escape in my mind, you know, I'll just start thinking of funny things or I don't know, just things to distract me. And quite often I will think of things that my mom either did or said. And this one particular incident kept coming into my mind to the point where at one point I was laughing hysterically, which I needed to laugh hysterically because I was about ready to cry hysterically, right? And luckily I was by myself. No one saw me have a complete like hysterical laughing meltdown, but it was good. You know, it was all good. I needed it. But I thought I would share with you what was making me laugh so hard. So when I was like 2, 3, 4, I think it was, I went to this preschool, really neat preschool that was known as a co-op, meaning that the parents of the kids that were attending the preschool would come in and teach a couple times a week. Well, usually there was the teacher and then a parent in the room helping us every day of the week. But like, you know, my mom, for instance, my mom would come like on Mondays and Thursdays. And, you know, I was only there for, I don't know if I was there all day. I don't remember. It doesn't matter. But, you know, so my mom was there quite often. And this one particular day, it was a Thursday or Friday. Who cares? It doesn't matter what day of the week it was. You don't need that much detail. But it was right before Easter. And my mom thought it would be great to sit us all down for story time and read the Velveteen Rabbit storybook. Yay. Now we had a pet bunny in the classroom that was most often in its cage. I don't really even remember ever like petting the bunny or holding the bunny or anything. I just remember the bunny being in the classroom in its cage, right? So my mom sits down in a chair and the rest of us, all of us little kiddos, I'm going to go back in with this brush, nothing additional on it, just kind of blend that out a little bit. We were just sitting on the floor in a semicircle. And my mom's in the chair reading us the Velveteen Rabbit story. And she had pulled the rabbit cage over like right next to her. I'm going to go back into that other palette, the Tokyo Harajuku palette, go back into that purple shade just a little teeny tiny bit. So she's reading the story and we're all sitting there. And I remember like, well, I don't know if I remember this exactly, but I have this memory of thinking, oh, it's my mom. My mom's reading us this story. How wonderful. I think I was 3. So I probably wasn't that advanced in my thinking at that point, but I'd like to believe that I was. So she gets to the end of the story, and I don't even remember what even happens in that story, but she gets to the end of the story and she decides to pull the rabbit out of its cage and like act like the rabbit's the Velveteen Rabbit. I don't know. I don't know what the hell she was doing, but she pulls the rabbit out of the cage and holds it up so it's like facing her, like she has it like by the scruff of the neck and like the bottom, it's bottom, like the feet or whatever, I don't know. And the rabbit just goes ape shit. I mean, just starts like clawing and attacking her to the point where her shirt got all torn up. And my mom panics because this bunny is attacking her. And she just takes it with her other hand and tosses it just whoosh across the room. And it like slid across the floor and just slammed into the piano. Oh, because we had a piano in the classroom. And it just kind of got up and kind of shook its head off and just hopped away. I mean, it was fine. I think it looked a lot worse than I think it really was. My mom said she looked down at me, looked down at all of us, but especially at me. And I'm looking at her and my eyes are like this big around. And a couple of us started to cry. And my mom was just like, okay, what the hell did I just do? And my mom's shirt was just torn, like the whole neck of her shirt was all torn up with these rabbit claw marks. I mean, who does that? But I was thinking about that the other day when I was in my office trying not to have a complete emotional meltdown. And it was just so funny. I will never forget that as long as I live. I'm going to go into voodoo now and put that in my outer V. But yeah, I don't know. And we talked about that quite often over the years. Just, I don't know how funny that was and how, well, I mean, it wasn't how funny it was really. We just have a really weird sense of humor in my family. And luckily the bunny was just fine. But I mean, if she'd hurt the bunny, and she would say that often, like, if I had hurt that bunny, I would never have come back to the classroom. She's like, I probably would never have been asked to come back to the classroom. Oh, geez. But just seeing the, I do remember it. I remember my mom, like, and, you know, I know that I was 3. So my memory of it may not be as accurate as what I think it is. It's probably just my mom retelling the story so many times that I remember. But just the look of sheer panic on my mom's face when the bunny started to attack her, basically. And then our reactions to it. She said my eyes had never been bigger around in my life. She said, your eyes were like saucers. Oh, geez. And then I was like, came up to her. I guess I came up to her and hugged her, made sure she was okay. And the rest of the kids are like making sure the bunny's okay. And then there was another preschool teacher, an actual preschool teacher, not just a parent, that was in the class too, that I think was like looking at my mom like, what are you doing in here? Throwing a bunny, a live bunny across the room? And this is a beautiful purple matte. This is really nice. And that, this shade too is really nice. I love it. Trick. Okay, so I'm going to go back into Trick just a teeny tiny bit and blend out the edge of Voodoo just a little bit. But I'm loving this look so far, loving the color combination. I mean, you can't go wrong with either one of these palettes really in terms of color combinations, although the Tokyo Harajuku palette is tricky for me sometimes. I haven't used it a whole ton of times just because it does get a little strange for me to use, like just pastel shades in general. I think they're beautiful. It's just, I'm not real good at putting them together necessarily. So I think Jan is an absolute genius by looking at this palette as a companion palette, because that's truly, I think, the best use for it, really. Absolutely. Okay, so I think that all melded together very well. So now I'm trying to figure out the shimmer shades I'm going to use. I know what shimmer shade I'm going to use out of the Tokyo Harajuku palette, but for this look, or for this, from this palette, for this look, I'm thinking about Spell. I just think that would look super cool next to that dark purple matte, so I'm doing it. Let's go into Spell. And I'm super excited to see which 2 palettes Nikki chose, and then also what shade she's going to use, because I know her look's going to be absolutely amazing. She did a video not long ago with the Beauty Bay, ooh yeah, Tropical palette, I think it was. Is that what it's called? It's got like pinks and oranges and yellows. Oh, I'm like, should I get that palette? I'm like, no, I probably don't need to do that. I could dupe it, I'm sure. But I just am such a huge fan of Beauty Bay palettes, and that's such a cool color story. So beautiful. I loved it, and her look was so gorgeous. And I don't have a lot of palettes with that color story. See, this is what I do. This is how I justify it. I'm like, well, I only have like 2. Well, 2's enough. But then I'm like, well, but I might need 3 or 4. So, geez. So for now, I'm going to hold off on getting the Beauty Bay Tropical palette. But if it goes on sale or something, I don't know. I might just have to get it. Just have to. Can't live without it, right? But she created such a gorgeous look. And Nikki is a blending master. She's so good at blending her eyeshadows. And I love to watch her create her looks. It's so much fun. She's just amazing. She really is. And I love the shimmer shade. This is gorgeous. And I'm loving the Milani eyeshadow primer. I'm loving it. I wish that I had, well, I can use it now, so it doesn't matter. But it's a really nice, it's just a little bit tackier, I would say, than the P. Louise. So I'm feeling like I'm getting better stickum with my shimmers today. That is gorgeous. So now I'm going to go into Otaku right here and put that towards the front. Okay, let's do this. I'm using the same brush. I just cleaned it off because I really like the shape and size of this brush. Now, the real mysterious part of the shimmer is that it looks pink, but when I put it on my lid, it's probably going to be blue, like an icy blue. Let's see. Let's see what happens. Yep. Beautiful. I mean, you can see the pink a little bit too, but it really gets icy blue on the lid, for me anyway. It might stay more pink if you were to try it, you know? But for me, it gets real icy blue. But you can, yeah, I can see a little bit of a pink shift to it. Oh, yeah. Lovely. Now I'm wishing I'd used the purple shimmer, but I didn't. And I think this is gorgeous. Just because I think then this would have popped maybe a little bit more, but whatever. You live and you learn, right? So if I wanted to do this again, I could use the purple shimmer and not the aqua one. But no, I like this. I like it a lot. And I think it looks really cool next to the more bright purple matte from the Tokyo Harajuku palette. Yes, yes. And you know, here's the thing too. Let me show you something. You know, this palette does have this light lavender. So I could have just used that. But the thing that I like, hold on, I can get this up here. The thing that I like about the, sorry if I'm blinding you, the purple matte that I used from the Tokyo Harajuku palette is that it's just got a little bit more depth to it. And it's, I think, more vibrant. So that's why I thought that would be fun to use this matte shade. Okay, what do I need to do now? I think what I'll do is go in with my finger with Otaku, just a teeny tiny bitty bit, and just kind of smush those together. I feel like there's kind of a harsh spot right here I need to manage. Oh yeah, that is freaking gorgeous. This is so fun to do things like this, to grab 2 different palettes and put shades together. I love it. See, and I do that sometimes, with more so though with like an all matte and all shimmer palette. I'm gonna go back into Voodoo. But like this type of thing, I don't really do that ever. And I love it. So maybe I could make a series out of that on my channel. I don't know. I'll probably leave Nikki to that because she's so amazing at her Mishmash Monday series. It's amazing, really. If you guys haven't watched those videos, highly recommend them. They're very inspiring because it just makes you look at palettes in a different way. Makes you see that like you can do this. You can grab 2 pretty different color stories and put them together, and it's just like wowza, you know, it's fun. Really fun. I think this looks absolutely gorgeous. So I'm gonna go clean up my under eye here, do my other eye, the rest of my face, and I'll come back. So this, of course, is my finished look, and I really like how this look turned out. And I just love Nikki's creative brain that she would even think to do something like this. This is not something I would think up on my own to grab palettes from 2 different brands, grabbing shades out of each palette and putting a look together with them. But I really like doing this. It's so fun. So I'm going to show you both palettes again, but let me show you just a few things I threw on my face for my finished look. On my lips, I grabbed a liquid lipstick from Menagerie Cosmetics, and this is in the shade Hook, Line, and Sinker. Now, I was going to go with a purple liquid lipstick. I grabbed one of my multi-chrome lip glosses from Ladybug Glow that has the purple and teal flip. But I don't know, I just thought about doing something that was maybe a little bit more unexpected. So I thought this pink would look cool with the eye look, kind of juxtaposition of the colors. And I'm loving these liquid lipsticks. I have 3 of these, and this was the only one I hadn't used yet. And I just love the formulation. You know, it's a liquid lipstick, so maybe it looks a little dry, but not as dry as some of my other liquid lipsticks. And it just feels good. Like you can't even really feel it on the lips, and it lasts really well throughout the day. So I'm thrilled that I chose this for my look today. For my upper lid liner, I use the Iconic Flick Ink Felt Liner from Revolution Beauty in black, felt tip liner in black. Love it. And then I grabbed my Tarte Gifted mascara that Jen Beauty sent to me. Love this mascara. I also used a shade out of this palette. This is the Enchantment palette from Beauty Moon Cosmetics. This is in my Def Leppard panning project. And so I grabbed this shade right here and threw that in my inner corners and also on my face today. And this is such a lovely palette. And I think I might actually do like a full face get ready with me and like use a couple of the shades on my eyelids. I've yet to use this as an eyeshadow palette, but you can do that with this. So I might do that someday. I don't know. I'm still kicking some ideas around of future content stuff. Okay, so now let's talk about the Nomad Cosmetics Tokyo Harajuku palette. Now I realize I only use 2 shades out of here. I use this one right here and this one. But I have a hair on me, but I really enjoyed both of the shades. And the thing that I loved about this shade in this look today is that it's very vibrant and it's not as pastel as what I think when I look in this palette for some reason. I mean, I guess, I don't know. There's more pastel, like lighter shades in here, obviously, than this. This is maybe a mid-tone purple, I don't know. But I really like the vibrancy of it. Very like, almost like electric purple matte shade. And this shimmer shade is so beautiful. And it's very mysterious. It really is. This is probably one of the most mysterious shimmer shades I have in my collection because it's pink here, but it's very icy blue on my lids. And I just love that about this palette. And, you know, I've thought about decluttering it because I just thought, well, I'm not really reaching for it a lot because I don't really like to use it just by itself, although you can. And I have really enjoyed looks I've created with this palette all by itself. But using it as a companion palette, I'm telling you, that's where it's at. And then the Book of Magic palette from Beauty Bay. This is such a gorgeous palette. I really do believe that this is my favorite Beauty Bay palette that I have in my collection, although I love all of my Beauty Bay palettes. The only one I didn't love was the Dark Fantasy. That's gone. I mean, it's still in here. I need to find a home for it. Nobody, I don't have any takers so far for that palette. But I really enjoyed all the shades that I put on my lids today. This Voodoo shade is so pigmented and rich and gorgeous. This shade, I almost pointed to this one. This shade, Trick, worked so well in my crease, both creases, my creases, wonderful. And then the shimmer shade, Spell, gorgeous, very opaque, very buttery thick, you know, and I really think that Spell and Otaku out of the Tokyo Harajuku palette worked really well together. Really liked it. So yeah, I mean, using these together was just a dream. I had so much fun. And again, Nikki is just a creative genius. Of course, I'll have her channel linked in my description box. And if you guys have not yet gone to subscribe to her channel and show her a ton of love and support, I highly recommend you do so because she is so good at doing this kind of content, putting different shades together out of different palettes that you would never even think to put together. She can do it, and it always turns out absolutely gorgeous. And Nikki is such a special and precious person in my life. I adore her. I'm very protective of her. And, you know, like I've had to go into her comment section a couple times and bite back at some people because I'm like, leave her alone. She's like my baby. I love her so much. And it's always such a pleasure to collab with her. And we've talked about doing a monthly collab together. And I'm hoping that we can, you know, really do that because it's always a wonderful experience to collab with her. I love her. Thank you guys so much for taking time out of your lives to sit down and watch this video. If you're new here and you enjoyed what you saw, please consider subscribing, smash the like button, and of course, comment down below in the comment section. I love to chat with you guys there. If you've been here before, thank you so much for coming back. I cannot wait to see you guys again in my next video. But in the meantime, please take very good care of yourself, be well, safe, happy, and of course, I'll see you soon. Bye.
Drop it.